So we all know that there's a lot of cards that supports Arceus EX. And ever since Triumphant Light came out, I've been testing out all of these cards, some good, some bad. But I actually found one that was really good and kind of anti-meta, and I love running anti-meta decks. And that's none other than Carnavine. Now, Carnavine's ability is if Arceus or Arceus EX is on your bench, you can do 30 more damage. So for 1 energy, it will do 50 damage total. And that is a very good energy to damage ratio. This is especially good for early game scenarios. The most popular deck being played right now is Arcues EX. I run into those all the time. And the most used supporting Pokemon card for water decks, or even just colorless decks, or weird Leafeon decks, is Manaphy, and Carnavine completely counters that. It also one-shots the likes of Sneasel if anyone's running a Weavile and Darkrai deck. And speaking of Darkrai, it can potentially two-shot it. Now this is where things get interesting. You need just a little bit more support to make this deck work. So for starters, I added in the new Shaman to get free retreat costs for Carnavine. That way I can use Dawn, so if I have 2 energy attached to my Arceus EX on the bench, I can just retreat it for free retreat costs and then use a Dawn, and then boom, Arceus basically wins you the game. And on paper, that seems like it's all you need, but it really isn't. After playing with that combination, I discovered some inconsistencies, and we needed just a little bit more support. So I immediately thought of adding the other Shaman for passive healing. And this provided a lot of utility. It definitely improved the deck. It was very easy to use, but something in me felt like it could get better. So I felt like I needed something with a little bit more HP and a little bit more pressure. And more importantly, it needed to be a basic Pokemon. So I got a little crafty and I looked into the dragon section, and would you look at that, Giratina from Triumphant Light takes grass type energy. It also takes psychic energy, and I was just willing to test that out. On paper, this card does not look good at all. It has a 3 retreat cost for 3 energy. It does 120 damage, and don't get me wrong, 120 damage is great, but you also have to discard 2 energy from it, and 120 damage doesn't one-shot like the main cards that you want to one-shot. So you're doing all this build up for what? Just to do a lot of damage? It won't end well, right? Well, to my surprise, I won a lot. And it wasn't for the damage output. It was actually for using Giratina as a shield with the potential of dealing damage. I've been testing it out for a while. I was going absolutely mad. I was making spreadsheets. I was taking notes after every single win and loss. But honestly, I was really surprised, but I still couldn't buy it that this card was actually that good. So on the topic of Giratina, I tried out the other Giratina, who has the ability that if it has an energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. The main aspect of the previous Giratina, for me at least, was the HP. But the main thing for me is Dawn is the shining star of this deck, at least for the supporters. And the Space-Time Smackdown Giratina just paired up so well because I would have to have an energy attached to it. I would retreat for free, and it would still have that energy attached to it, allowing me to use a Dawn. And this was one of those situations where I wouldn't even need Shaman on the bench to accomplish that. So I decided to try that version of the deck out, and after going back and forth, comparing, contrasting, making spreadsheets, making tables, I landed on the final deck. So let's get into the build. So I already did a lot of yapping and kind of introduced this deck already, so we're just going to go through this real quick. As I said probably 1,000 times before, we're running Carnavine Arceus with the support of Giratina from Space-Time Smackdown and Shaman from wait, what is the new set called? Oh, Triumphant Light. And again, with Carnavine, its ability Power Link allows you to do 50 damage with its Vine Whip attack, as long as you have Arceus or Arceus EX on the bench. So we're running 2 copies of Carnavine. We're running 1 copy of Giratina. This is our mobile shield, I guess you could call it. Its Levitate ability allows it to have no retreat cost as long as you have an energy attached to it. So 70 damage is, I guess, all right. There are going to be situations where you might need to attack with Giratina, but its main purpose is to just be a shield that can get back onto your bench very easily while still keeping the energy attached to it. It has 120 HP, which is great, but with a giant cape, it gets even better at 140. This can take up a fully set up attack from Arceus EX, and Arceus EX is super popular in the meta right now. Next up, we have Shaman, which allows your basic Pokemon to have 1 less retreat cost. So Carnavine will be free to retreat, and Arceus EX, if you need to retreat it, it'll only cost 1 energy. And speaking of Arceus EX, we've already been through this before in my previous video, but if you're new here, if you haven't seen that, that's fine. It does 70 plus damage for 3 energy. and it does 20 more damage for each Pokemon on your bench, so it could do upwards 130 damage, which is pretty good. And of course, its ability prevents it from being affected by any special conditions. Now moving on to our items, we have 2 potion, and that might seem like a lot for the playstyle of this deck, but they do come in clutch. We have an X speed for situations where you might start out with a Shaman and nothing else, and you need to get it to your bench, or if you need to retreat your Arceus EX for free. And of course, if you don't have a Shaman and you want to retreat your Carnivine. We only really need 1. I tried this out with 2 and it seemed like a little overkill, basically because Shaman is an everlasting X speed, because all of these Pokemon are basic, so Shaman's ability affects all of them. We have 2 Pokeballs. We're only running basic Pokemon. That's a necessity. We have 1 Pokemon communication in the case that you can't pull the card that you're looking for. As discussed earlier, we have 2 Giant Cape. It allows Giratina to tank an Arceus EX, and it allows Arceus EX to tank a hit from Palkia. And those are the 2 most popular cards in the meta. Of course, we have 2 Professor's Research for a draw, and we're running 1 Sabrina and 1 Cyrus. There are situations where you might have a slow start. You might not be able to pull a Carnivine or an Arceus. And Sabrina isn't really used in this deck offensively, but more so defensively. This is to slow down the energy buildup of your opponent. And of course, you can always use Sabrina as you did in the Genetic Apex stays offensively. But more often than not, you're going to use Cyrus for that. And as I talked about earlier, Dawn is going to be the main supporter that you're using. Dawn comes in clutch so often for this deck because your retreat cost is going to be so little. The best part is your opponent isn't really expecting that. And the other thing you might have picked up on is we're running 2 types of energy. It doesn't get in the way as often as you'd expect, and you can use Dawn to your advantage as well. So that's the deck build up. And of course, right now, just today, as I'm recording this, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it out the same day.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
There is a new event match, and what better way to test this out than to get 5 wins in a row with it. So let's get into it. I'm starting at 0. We're going to end with 5 by the end of this video. I guarantee it. Let's go. Okay, so first opponent testing out this deck. Let's see what they have for us. Oh, okay. Well, sure. Okay. Maybe they didn't have a good hand. You can't make this up. What is going on? Moving on to the next game. If we win 4 games in a row, like legitimately, that still shows the power of this deck. I mean, testing it out, I think I got 7 or 8 wins in a row with it. It had almost a 90 win percentage too, which was crazy. But let's see. Let's see if this person leaves early. We're going second again. Huge advantage. And we have Shaman and Art. What? I don't know what's happening right now. I really don't. We have 2 consecutive wins. I don't know. Are people just getting antsy? Do they have no faith? Twice in a row. You can't make this up. Okay, after I win 3 times in a row after this, I'm going to see, we're going second again. That's crazy. But I'm going to see if I can win twice after that, just to get the consecutive wins out the way. But we're starting things off with a Shaman. They're running a Celebi EX, and they have a Bulbasaur on the bench, maybe a Venusaur EX as well. And they also have an Eevee. That's a lot of Pokemon for 1 deck.
Wait a minute.
And a Snivy. What am I playing? Okay, so we're gonna Professor's Research this. We have a Carnivine, we have a Giratina. We're going to save the Giratina in our hand to hopefully get an Arceus, but we're going to attach a grass type energy to the Carnivine, and we're going to end our turn right there. It looks like they're getting their evolutions in. Maybe this is the meta, but that is insane. Okay, so we have a potion, nothing really to help out. So what I'm going to do now is get Giratina on the bench, and we're going to attach a psychic energy to it just to start building that up. And there's a high probability they're going to knock out our Shaman. They're getting all the evolutions in. What is actually going on right now? Okay, this is like worst case scenario for us. They're getting super lucky with their draws. They got a heads there, and they got another. They're getting super lucky with their draws. They're getting super lucky with their coin flips. What is happening? Is this what happens when 2 people like leave the match in a row? Maybe the Pokemon Pocket Gods are seeing this as like a faulty win streak. And of course we get the X speed right when our Shaman goes out. But let's attach another psychic type energy to our Giratina. and we're going to don, no need to use a giant cape here, because if they get 3 heads, it's going to knock it out regardless at 140 HP. But we're going to go ahead and don the Carnavine and see if we can survive a hit from the Celebi EX. Hopefully they don't go 3 for 3. That would be insane luck. Okay, they have an Erica, so they are going to survive another day. They got to get all 3. They got 1. That was too close. Okay, we have a Pokeball. We should be able to get an Arceus. I swear, if we get Carnivine. Okay, there we go. We are going to start building up the Arceus now. I'm going to retreat the Giratina, and we're going to don Carnivine. Bold plays, and we're going to deal 50 damage right there. Okay, let's see. The Giratina could hypothetically knock it out next turn. Let's see what they have. They have a Giovanni. That was unnecessary. If you roll 2 heads regardless, they're going to knock it out. Even if they roll 1 heads, they wouldn't be able to knock it out. So there's a tails, there's a heads, there's a heads, there's a tails. Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to send out the Giratina, and we're just going to have to hope that they don't have a superior to set up their Leafeon EX 100%. And we're going to go ahead and Spooky Shot for 70, and the Celebi goes out. They have no energy on the board now. Things are getting weird. We're going to have to hope that they don't have a superior. They're going to Forest Breath. Do you have a superior? No. Okay, we're good. That's what happens when you have too many Pokemon in your deck. We're going to go ahead and Professor's Research here. We have a Giant Cape and another Pokeball. Let's get the Pokeball going, just so we can do more damage with Arceus EX. And we're going to have to retreat. And we're going to attach an energy to Arceus, and we're going to retreat the Giratina. We have a Sabrina, so we'll be able to knock out their Ivysaur or Servine. They have a Sabrina, so we're going to be able to... We're going to be able to bring out this Arceus EX. I don't like that because we're going to have to waste an energy. Luckily, we have an X speed. We have a potion. Let's potion the Giratina because they won't be able to use a Sabrina and a Giovanni at the same time. So we're going to potion the Giratina, and we are going to retreat to the Arceus EX just in case they have a Giovanni for the Giratina. This was a really weird match, by the way. And we have our Arceus EX out, and we're going to end the turn right there. So if they Sabrina us, we'll take out the Giratina. Oh, they have a Celebi EX now. Okay. So they're probably going to start building that up. Yeah, they are. Okay. I don't like this at all right now. Oh, we have another Carnivine. We win the game. We're going to Sabrina. They're going to think they can survive with the Celebi, but we're going to whip out the Carnivine on the bench and deal 130 damage. And that will be that. There we go. We win the match. Okay, so that happened. That happened. We have 3 wins in a row. Okay, what do we have here? We're going first, which isn't ideal. They're running grass. But look at this. This is the... We had the perfect setup. What is going on in this event? What I think that's happening is people want the perfect hand to start off their consecutive wins, which I guess is smart, but I mean, what is going on here? Okay, we just need 1 more win. We're definitely going to get some more matches in after this. We're going second. They're running water. We have the perfect... Oh, no. We have Psychic as our starting energy. So we are going second, so we're going to be able to energize quickly. Druddigon. Is this going to be like a Greninja Druddigon deck? Is this guy stuck in the mythical island ways? We'll see, though. We'll see. We have a grass energy up next, so that's good for us. I'm going to go ahead and Pokeball before we Professor's Research. I'd rather have more like trainer cards than you know, a specific Pokemon on the bench. We already basically have a perfect bench right now. But I'm going to keep that Carnivine in hand. I don't think we need 2 at a time. 2 giant capes is huge for us, though. But let's go ahead and end the turn there. Good first hand for sure. So he does 30 damage. We do have a giant cape and a potion. So we're able to get Carnivine just out of range for a Greninja knockout with its ability doing 20 damage to it, and then an additional 60 damage from its attack. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's just see what Professor's Research has for us. And it looks like we got a Sabrina and a Cyrus. That is great. We're probably going to need that Cyrus after this. So let's potion, and then let's giant cape, and we'll attack for 50, which is crazy. Ooh, okay. This is interesting now. So this is a Gyarados deck. They have a Misty. Oh boy. Hopefully they don't get a crazy roll here. Perfect for us. Okay, so he's gonna go for the damage on Carnavine, which is interesting. If he was just a little bit smarter, he would have done damage to our Arceus because they're gonna need this Greninja for the Arceus knockout. Let's switch the Carnivine out for a different Carnivine because this Water Shuriken will be able to knock out our active one and force us to bring out a Pokemon that we don't really want to get out there and get damaged early on. So let's do that, and we'll do an additional 50. It's okay if this Carnivine gets knocked out because we're gonna go after this Greninja regardless. So let's just Vine Whip and see what he does. So we should start building up that Magikarp for the Gyarados. Oh, there's the Gyarados. Gyarados does give this deck a hard time, so this is gonna be a good test to see how good it is. 180 HP is insane on it. They retreated as expected, and they're gonna knock out our benched Carnivine. Now, luckily we have a Cyrus. We're going to be able to take that Greninja out. And here we go. Let's Vine Whip the Greninja. And now they're probably going to bring out the Dredagon again. Ooh, we should have attached Giant Cape to Arceus EX, but that's fine. I'm going to attach Energy, attach a Giant Cape. Let's retreat this Carnivine for free. It still has its energy on it just in case we need it. And then let's go ahead and Sabrina to force the Gyarados to come out. And we're going to put this Arceus EX on the bench to do even more damage. Now, I don't know if there's a way that homie can come back from this at this point, unless they retreat the Gyarados for a lot of energy. Unless they have a Leaf, of course. Okay. So they're going to bring out the Dredagon now. And what I'm going to do here is use our X speed and bring out the Carnivine. Ooh, we have a Dawn too. That's perfect. So let's go X speed, bring out the Carnivine, and let's start building up our other Arceus EX. Why not? Let's go ahead and Vine Whip once. Okay, building up that Gyarados EX. So another energy on the Arceus EX. Vine Whip the Dredagon. It goes away. They have to bring out the Gyarados, and if they Sabrina us, oh, they could do damage with Greninja and then Cyrus. That would be annoying. Are they gonna do it? Do they have a Cyrus? No, they don't have a Cyrus. That would have been really bad for us. But we win there. That was really annoying. That's an annoying deck, and that's like our biggest counter right now. Just because Gyarados is just such a tank, and it one-shots Arceus without a giant cape. But luckily, we played it correctly. We played it right. That was actually a really good last game for the consecutive win challenge. And we have the badge. Look at it in all of its glory. But we're going to stay in this challenge and continue to try to get wins. We're going to try to see if we can go for 7 wins in a row just to get some more interesting play in here. Obviously, you guys don't want to see a bunch of matches where my opponent leaves the game. A lot of the times they leave towards the end of the game, but right in the beginning is crazy. They're running Skorupi. Who are we playing against in this event? But we can get poisoned. Okay, so this is one of those situations where Arceus is just going to steamroll most likely. Well, we take out the Skorupi without any Pokemon on our bench. Why do I get the weirdest games when I press record? What is going on? I think our opponent was a level 29 too, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him.
Is this allowed?
Arceus EX didn't become poisoned. They're going to be like, what? Bro's hacking. And let's go ahead and Ultimate Force for 90. And this game is going to be over. Whoa, Weavile! Watch out, everybody! If the next match after this isn't that good, I'm just going to go into random match. Hopefully we can get some, better. Oh, okay. They quit, but hopefully we can get a better matchup there. But let's get into one more event match. Maybe like the event matches are just, I don't know if there's SBMM in the game, but it's just really weird right now. Okay, you can't even make this up. Bro just left the game. There we go. They didn't return. Okay, I guess that's win number 7 in a row. Okay, so our event matches have been so questionable. I'm going to get right into some random matches. I feel like we're going to get into better games. It looks like we're running up against Steel, so they probably have a Dialga EX. Finally, a good deck. Let's go. Okay, so let's Professor's Research to start things off. I'm going to wait before I play. If they have a Arceus, I'm probably going to play the Giratina on our bench. If it's Probopass, it's probably going to go Carnivine. So they're going to Giant Cape the Dialga EX. I'm leaning more towards Probopass now because that's like kind of giving tanky vibes. But anyways, I'm still going to keep my hand. Let's just go ahead and deal 50 damage and see who they put on the bench. They should put the Metallic Turbo to its full potential and load up anything, no matter what it is that they have in their hand. Another Dialga. Okay. Sabrina. Oh no. They have a Sabrina. Okay, Okay, that's annoying. You see, that's how you use a defensive Sabrina, because now I'm going to have to waste energy on my end just to get the Carnivine back out. But we have a Shaman, luckily enough. So we're going to add the Shaman to the bench, and we're going to attach an energy to our Dialga EX, and we can use an X speed to get our Carnivine EX without wasting any energy. So that's perfect for us. I think this Carnivine is going to go out either next turn or the turn after. So we're going to have to wait and see. Okay, they're attaching to the Dialga. They might have a Don themselves. They don't. Okay, so this is giving us more of an opportunity to set up our Arceus EX. We don't get the Don. We have a Pokeball. Might as well use it to thin out the deck. We're going to get our last Pokemon, which is an Arceus EX. And we're just going to build up our benched Arceus. They're definitely going to knock out this Carnivine for sure. So let's just go ahead and Vine Whip. Might as well deal some more damage just in case they have anything to, you know, heal up this Dialga. They could very well retreat it with its Shaman. That's probably what they're going to do. Wow, okay. I was literally just saying exactly what they were going to do. But we have a Cyrus, so that's fantastic for us. This is where things get tricky. I'm going to bring out the Carnivine because I don't know what I want to do yet. We have a free retreat on the Carnivine, so that's the luxury of having a Shaman on the bench. But we do have our Giratina, although we haven't pulled any psychic type energy yet. Yeah, we're going to attach an energy to our Arceus. I'm going to retreat. Wait, we still have our Sabrina. Yeah, we haven't used Sabrina yet. I'm going to retreat, bring out the Arceus for sure. And I'm going to Cyrus. And then if we pull a Sabrina, we'll be able to knock out that Shaman. But if they Sabrina us, they'll be able to take out one of our Pokemon. I'm going to just bring out the Giratina to be a good tank for us. Who knows what can happen? But let's go ahead and Cyrus. And we're going to be able to knock out this Dialga. No problem at all. Things are getting crazy right now. I think there might be SPMM in random matches because this is the closest game we've had. It's going to come right down to the wire. They're going to Sabrina us. That's actually perfect. So we're going to bring out the Giratina. And this is why Giratina is so good in this deck. They're not going to be able to knock it out, and we attach an energy to it, and we bring our Arceus right back out. So all we have to do is attach an energy to our Giratina. We have a free retreat. We bring out our Arceus, and we're going to be able to deal big damage. And if they, you know, Cyrus us, so what? They take out our Giratina, we take out their Dialga by next turn. If they Sabrina us, we can send out the Giratina or the Carnivine or even the Shaman. It doesn't matter. Yeah, they're going to Cyrus us. Maybe they think because Giratina is so tanky, they're going to get 2 prizes for it. But that's not going to be the case. So that's just the power of Giratina in the deck. That's a good showing of what Giratina can do to eat up damage in these types of situations. It's a tank that can just move so easily, and it just has a really good utility in this deck. And of course, our opponent conceded. Now, I'm going to try one more random match. I think there is SBMM in this game, and it might just apply to your random matches, but when you go into event matches, it's random. I've noticed I played a bunch of like under 30 leveled people, and when I play random matches, I only get like 40 at the minimum. But either way, we're going first. They're running a dark deck. It's probably going to be Darkrai, but Carnivine 2-shots it. So they're going to be running Darkrai, Greninja, and Druddigon. That is toxic, but let's try to get an Arceus on our bench. There we go. That is perfect for us. We're going to keep the Giratina in our hand because we have Pokemon Communication. I'd rather have a Shaman on our bench. But let's go ahead and see what their next move is going to be. Ooh, so they're running Sneasel. Interesting. Oh, they're going to be Sabrina-ing us. That's annoying. Okay, so they're going to do some early damage. They probably have a Weavile in hand, so they're going to be able to do 70 damage to us. Just kidding. We have a Shaman. In the case that they have a Cyrus, I don't feel like getting hit for 70, so I'm going to potion our Arceus just to get it fully healthy. Now let's attach Grass to the Carnivine. We use an X speed to get our Arceus safely on the bench. We're going to deal some big damage with Carnivine by round, what is this, round 3? But it's our second round, so that's fantastic. Okay, there's the Darkrai, so no Druddigon, it looks like. That's an interesting play for sure. The real question is, are they going to retreat the Froakie? They need that Greninja for its utility. They're going to deal 20 damage to the Carnivine, and they're going to use Froakie to deal more damage to it. Okay, so we're going to be able to knock out its Froakie, prevent it from setting up that other Greninja, which is very annoying. We have all of our Pokemon except one, so this Pokemon Communication will give us a Carnivine, and I'm going to be in search of that. So Let's go ahead and Pokemon Communication the Giratina. It's weak to dark type attacks, so we definitely don't want it. Giratina is just a really easy target. It's not a tank in this situation. But now we have a second Carnivine that we're going to put on the bench. We're going to put a Psychic Energy on the Arceus EX, and then we're going to knock out this Froakie. So now the plan is for this Carnivine to go out. We're going to send out another Carnivine, deal a lot of damage, and then we're going to just continue to set up the Arceus EX. It's going to be tough for them to catch up to us again because we knocked out their Froakie with an attached energy to it, so they are kind of at an energy deficit. They're the first ones to go down. We have a giant cape here, and that could save our Carnivine, because if the Darkrai does 20 damage to it, it will be in one-shot range for this Weavile, but with the giant cape, it will survive just by 10 HP. So we're going to do that for sure. We're going to attach the grass energy to it, and we're going to go ahead and Vine Whip. Its Vine Whip attack can two-shot Weavile EX and Darkrai EX, so this is going to be very scary for our opponent here. And they conceded. Okay, that's just the power of Carnivine EX against these dark type decks. Darkrai is so popular, and Carnivine EX absolutely just overwhelms your opponent early game. And you get into situations like that where you don't have to play full game to win. So that's gonna do it for this video. We got into some really weird games, and then we got into some better meta relevant games. The top 3 matches have to be when I played against the Darkrai EX, the Dialga EX, and the Gyarados EX. The Dialga EX match was actually really close. And I mean, as annoying as Darkrai is, Carnivine just completely shuts it down. And Gyarados EX, being one of the biggest counters to this deck, couldn't stand a chance to us because we played correctly. And I understand this deck is definitely out there. It's very difficult to use. You're gonna have to play in ways that you most normally won't in many other decks. All of the retreats plus the Dawn plays plus predicting what your opponent's going to do or predicting worst case scenario. There's a lot that goes into this deck, and if you can play it correctly, it's definitely going to reward you. I think this might be one of the best decks that I have ever used. So I hope you guys give it a shot. I hope you guys get your wins. I hope you guys get your consecutive wins and get that 5-win badge. And as always, if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.